Hey Freedom Fighters, it's the Angry Gen X here, and I wanted to give you a quick update on the Knox Cannon Trail walk. I have to admit I'm a little bit bummed out. I walked about 26 miles of it in the rain for the most part. Got lots of beeps and honks and encouragement as I carried my Gadsden flag through the rain, but I didn't have the opportunity really to meet with a lot of people. I met with a few, and that was very nice. My attempt to get off social media and just kind of meet, press the flesh with folks that are of like mind. But for a number of different reasons, logistical primarily, weather secondarily, but also I think just the project itself, I felt like I needed to postpone it. I wasn't getting the rallying that I was really hoping for. And so I decided I'm gonna just put this off and really think about it and maybe see if this is actually the path that I want to take. Because walking 26 miles of a historic route through what is now basically suburbs of the capital city of Albany, New York, gave me a chance to think about things. It gave me a chance to think about who I am, who I want to associate with, where the society is, and where it is that we're going. And it is a little bit troubling. I decided to take the fight to, the state of New York, because I thought, well, there's got to be people here, a small remnant that are living in what is essentially enemy territory, who probably would benefit from some networking. I wanted to feel a sense of connection and maybe serve as a catalyst for others being connected. And what I found is that basically on the journey, while it was really great, it was a very small minority of people that would even beep their horn, which I expected. That isn't really the part that I'm sad about. But it was really more about the sense of just how dramatic people are asleep. And I got to really thinking, there's been some people that are very, very upset about the things that are happening in South Africa. And others are like, it doesn't really matter much. We got to deal with our own problems here. I think that the African National Congress and the Democratic National Committee have a lot in common in terms of the racial dynamic and dilemma that they're trying to cause lots of debate over. And it really got me thinking about not only their problem, but also the response of some of the people that are under attack, primarily white farmers. Although the Indian community in South Africa is being attacked pretty drastically as well. The response is an organization called Swedelanders. I guess that means Southlanders. Very, very well organized sort of prepper community. They really need help. Their land is, their lives, their bodily integrity is at risk right now in a pretty significant way. White farmers have been attacked, whipped, robbed, raped, and it's sort of like one of those things where it's a dramatic situation, and it serves to give an example to what potentially could happen here when racial politics and divisiveness go south. The simple fact of the matter is that anybody looking at the history of South Africa will know that the area was, in fact, settled primarily by white people as on their way to India. And it was many, many years later that they even encountered any kind of African tribe. I think that's a fair assessment of the history, but that isn't the purpose of this video, to get into the history of South Africa. The reality of it is that complex history of settlement and development and apartheid, which existed for a long time for specific reasons, it ended, and now we have a group of people in there that are basically on a genocidal track, and for what they perceive as historical injustice. Kill the Boer, kill the white, are chants that are being made at gatherings. And while we had a pretty significant summer last summer with racial strife at the front of the headlines, many millions, if not billions of dollars raised, what really has happened in the last year has been a clear delineation in our society, American society right now, but it really does this does translate over to the West as well. It has become apparent that tribalism is coming to the fore, and we must defend ourselves. All people have a right to defend themselves. All people have the right to live in freedom. And according to our Bill of Rights here in the United States, there are a lot of which should be obvious rights that are enshrined in that wonderful document, the Bill of Rights, which are being trampled on, or at least attempted to be trampled on. So the question then becomes, well, what do we do? What do people do? How do they respond to this? It seems to me that a big part of that answer is really just to not participate in the society. A big part of it is really just coming to places like this, where one can grow one's own food, where you can have one's own animals. If you eat animals, maybe a smaller but closer, tight-knit community, and far away from the city centers. Now, lest you get lulled into a false sense of security, in South Africa, white farmers are under threat of having their land taken away in the name of equity. And I never thought in my lifetime that I would see that happen in a democratic country, but that is currently being evaluated in the government of the African National Congress, a leftist, communist regime. And if that were ever to happen in the United States at the federal level, which it seems increasingly more so likely, particularly with the change of demographics and voting patterns and potential voter fraud, that you think you're out here in the country living the life and laws are being made somewhere else, and suddenly people are coming onto your land telling you that you don't own it anymore. Which is a really great case for small government involvement in small local government, which is certainly helpful, but not the be-all, end-all, as long as we have a monstrosity known as the federal government out of control, not respecting the rights of individual rights or property rights. So it goes to say that this is a very frustrating situation, because even though we don't want to participate, we still have to contend with people that want what is ours. And so I think this may be the warning, the clarion call, the canary in the coal mine, if you will, for people to band together on the most local level. Because at the end of the day, that's where the tip of the spear really will be. Jokers in Washington, D.C., or any capital of any Western democracy or republic can make laws as much as they want, but until men with guns come to enforce that, it's just words on a piece of paper. That is an important piece to remember, but it also should serve as a reminder that we need to organize better. We need to wake up. We need to connect with each other and form tribes, clans, communities that are as organized or better organized as the Swedelanders. This is a group of people that not only have banded together in terms of their skill set, but they've banded together in terms of caravanning to certain other key locations. Other people come in, take over. There's a whole process in which people are activated and practice and are actually exercising skills. So if you're not doing this, if you're not doing it right now, you are wasting your time. You're simply letting precious opportunities to pass. You need to get up off your couch. You need to get out of your house. You need to practice those skills. You need other people. You cannot be a lone wolf here. This farm is lovely. This farm that you're looking at has so many opportunities to sustain a family or a community. But this farm alone must be defended. This farm must be protected. And we are heading inevitably down a path of very dark times. Anyone with eyes to see can see it. With ears to hear can hear it. Please do not fall asleep. Please wake up. So as to my part in all of this, my attempt to see if I could communicate with like-minded people, I don't know if I'm going to do it by walking the Knox Cannon Trail. I got good exercise. I did 26 miles in the rain, met a handful of people, and it was fun. That was great. I got a little bit of a boost of adrenaline in that, oh, there's people that are there. And I might go do some variation of it in the future. Maybe I'll stop at one of the monuments and set up a flag and a little table and just see who stops by. I don't think I'm going to walk the trail. I don't know if that serves the purpose. I think I'd rather spend the time locally developing my land, developing my skills, developing my network of people. How to do that off social media is becoming increasingly hard, but I encourage you to do it now while you can, because the noose is tightening around our collective necks. There are forces at work. Some might say they're earthly forces, others might argue that they're spiritual forces. In any case, there are forces that are aligning against our collective interests as freedom-loving people. So I encourage you to do what you can to get active today so that you and your family are not slaves tomorrow.